All right, chapter 3. Chapter 3 looks at the building blocks for what the basis of a healthy diet is. It basically looks at all of the fancy words that we use to determine if we're getting enough of the macros and micros that we're going to be talking about here in the next unit. Okay, so that's what this is, and it also looks at looking at a food label, okay, which is one of your assignments. And it would probably make a good potential short answer question or essay question on an exam as well. So let's get into it here. All right, so nutrition requirements. This entire class looks at healthy adults, okay? And that is a moniker, healthy, because if you have a disease or if you have a certain condition, obviously, you're not healthy, and you can have a potential need for more or less of certain types of nutrients. So when we talk about how much, carbs and fats and proteins and vitamins and minerals and all that, it's with the caveat of looking at a healthy individual, okay? There are also needs for certain types of spots in your life. Nutrient demands for somebody who is pregnant is a hell of a lot different from nutrient demands for somebody who is not pregnant woman, okay? In that regard, obviously. Nutrition in your teens is way different than nutrition in your 40s, okay? In your 70s. So the age, your lifestyle, are you somebody who exercises a lot? Are you somebody who doesn't? Help, the environment in which you live can influence nutrient needs as well. If you live in some place that's really hot and sweat more, you're obviously going to need more water, which probably going to need more water soluble vitamins in that regard, because you're going to be losing them more as you sweat. So there's a bunch of different factors that go into it. And when we talk about, we'll look at this age, sex, we'll talk about, especially in the lifestyle chapters at the end, where we look at, specific age groups. We chunk it all together. You have 0 to 6 months, 0 to a year, basically. But 6 months is kind of a weird turning point for infants. And then you have like 2 to 5-year-olds, you have 5 to 7-year-olds, you have your teens, you have us adults, you have older adults, anybody over the age of 65. So age does play a huge part in it, and each individual age chunk will have a specific nutrient need, really, in the grand scheme. Sex, males and females, huge, obviously. Women need a heck of a lot more iron compared to men. That's why iron is in a woman's multivitamin, and it's not in a guy's. We don't need it in that amount. If you guys do consume a woman's multivitamin and you're a dude, all that iron can wreak havoc on your testes. So don't do it. General health status: are you healthy? Are you not healthy? Are you a smoker? Okay. If you're a smoker, you're not healthy. Okay. You're consuming a carcinogen every damn day. And do you use medications? Okay. If you're taking a medication to control high blood pressure, you're not healthy. If you're taking medication to control heart murmur, arthritis, whatever, you're taking medications, that's going to influence your digestive system and affect how you absorb nutrients down in that small intestine. Chapter 4. Nutrient requirements these are going to be really the smallest amount that's going to be necessary to maintain health for the individual. An interesting question there: why were cigarettes promoted as healthy early on? Because, man, we were alive with pleasure. I don't know. That's just stupid, right? But that's an example of, I don't know. I would have to go back and review and look at this. But nicotine can do a few different things. We have nicotinic receptors in our body. So nicotine binds to these receptors, and you get certain effects that happen. Okay. And so, you run with it that, this is going to, vasodilate, relax, So from that standpoint, they took it and ran with it, and not looking at the consequences of long-term usage of this product, or even what it was doing to tissues in some of the lab animals that they were testing those into. So an example of bias not being represented, which is why it's represented now all over the place. All right. Where do we store these nutrients, these things that help us to go? Well, these are kind of the big three. I could really put another one up here as well. If I put a dot there, muscles. Muscles store a little bit. Okay. Muscles store a little bit. Your liver is your primary store of nutrients. Okay. Body fat, a primary storage of nutrients. All right. Those are going to be two major places where we do. The liver does so much stuff for us. It's unreal. Well, I'll save that conversation for Monday when we start talking about the digestive system. And then bones. Bones are a huge reservoir for a multitude of various different minerals. Okay. So those are going to be three major areas. A fourth, if you want to put it down there, would be muscles. Muscles do store a little bit, but not a whole heck of a lot. And when we start talking about some of our macros and micros, we'll talk about some of the handful of things that do get stored within muscles when we need to do something really quick, like getting up from a chair and walking across the room. Okay. The muscle stores a little bit of glycogen, a little bit of nutrients do get stored in there to allow us to create that energy quickly to fund that walk across the room. Okay. Until other mechanisms can kick in. Right. Maintaining this optimal storage, okay, is going to be necessary. This allows us to withdraw. That doesn't mean you have to have a huge number of fat stores, but having a little bit of fat is necessary. Okay? There's going to be a time where you don't eat for several hours. That's called nighttime, hopefully, when you sleep for 8-9 hours. That's a component of health. So at night, when you sleep, your body is drawing upon those stores in your liver, in your fat, body fat, to help fund you to do stuff. Because even when you're sitting there doing nothing, there is a multitude of things going on that have to be maintained, that need energy to function. So we need these stores and we can draw upon. Also, if I don't get enough certain vitamins or certain minerals from my diet, I can just destroy bone and get it from there. That can obviously lead to osteoporosis, not ideal, but it's there to keep me alive.